My name is Phineas. As you have discovered, to tell the age of a tree, you must cut it open and count the rings. This was discovered at some point in your human history. Someone discovered this. And it was important to them enough to note this technique of knowing the age of something. It is interesting, of course, that by counting the rings, you are also counting the revolution around your sun. That is your year. And the rings of a tree are representing that traveling of 365 and some odd hours day. You are interested in how old things are. Even yourselves, you are interested in the age of another. If the person you suspect is considerably younger or older than what their physical appearance seems to be to you, you are interested to know. And if a person seems to look younger than they are, then you are perhaps impressed by their ability to fight or hold back the so-called ravages of time, that they look younger than they are. And you have a certain definition of what a person should look like at a certain age. If there perhaps is a young person who seems to have an older look about them, perhaps you will then think this is an old soul, that they are perhaps travelers through many, many lifetimes, and it is clear in their face that they are such. You are also interested if something is an antique. Let us take an example. Let us say there is this work of art here that is glittering in the shape of a fruit. And whether or not it appeals to you matters not. But what is interesting is if it perhaps does not appeal to you, but if you were to discover its history, perhaps if you were told that it is actually a century old. Let us say it is more than a century old, and there was a time where it belonged to a king. It belonged to a royal family, and that royal family gifted it perhaps to this family here. You would gaze upon this object very differently than if you knew it was made only a month or so ago and bought in a very common market or store. The stories behind that which you observe can change your perception of what you perceive, the feeling it gives you. And it is through storytelling. Your entire culture is based upon storytelling. And some of those stories you regard as fact, and some as myth. The ancient scriptures of India are regarded as Indian mythology. They are not regarded as fact. And that is an interesting concept. By whom is it regarded as mythology? It is not regarded as mythology by the natives themselves. They see it as truth. You do not say Christian mythology, for you feel that that was a historical person, and all of those beings or characters or humans, whatever you wish to call them, that are described in the Bible or the Quran, similar stories of Noah and so forth, that these are historical figures. They are not mythological figures. But you see perhaps Krishna or Kuan Yin or these Asian deities, that they are not real. Perhaps you believe that Merlin is not real because he was written about as a story. And yet, here in such an event such as this, where we are speaking through this gentleman here. We are no different than you. You are what we would call personality essences. You can call that a soul. But you see, you are a distinct personality. You're not some blanket soul that is just a term to cover all of you together. You are individuals. And so you are a personality essence. And you have been incarnating in many different forms. It is why you experience déjà vu. It is why you are seeing different faces in your dreams, faces that you have not met in this physical life. It is why you are drawn to certain parts of the planet or galaxy. There are many, many perspectives and reasons. And yet, when you share with each other, even at the end of the day, you are sharing your story of the day. And that is of interest to all of you, you see. There is a sharing, no matter whether it is done through this technology of yours here, which is a very fine technology, or it is done orally by speaking to one another, or it is written in literature. You are sharing. But what stories do you tell yourself? That is the core of this particular conversation this evening. If you believe in the source, then your reality will change. For example, would you be interested in a very simple way that the entire nation could boost your economy in one evening? Would you be interested to know how? You could revive your economy very simply. Simply have all of the news media go on the air and tell you that the economy now is booming and the recession is over. Go out and spend, purchase, create your businesses. We shall be supporting you. And every media outlet and every news service that was connected to your stock market and all of the financial institutions were verifying this to be true. And the banks and everyone else agreed. Imagine what would happen. Suddenly a wave of positivity would begin to creep up on you. And then you would begin to share with each other the stories. Oh, I saw it too. Did you see that? Was it true? Yes, I checked all the sources and everyone's saying it is true. You are now creating what is called a mass consciousness truth. Then by your actions, which are based on a security of a feeling that the source is valid. By your trust in that source, then you shall go out into the world and spend, purchase, and whatever it is that you wish to do, to start your own businesses, follow your dreams, as it were. All because you believed the source. And it was verified by the stories others are telling. Now, what would then happen is certainly the economy would be stimulated, would it not? There would be an energy amongst you. At that point, does it matter whether they were telling the truth or not? Hasn't it become the truth now? This is how powerful your internal storytelling is. Some of you call it your internal dialogue. If you began to trust in the source of what is telling you to believe in yourself, then you would begin to believe it. And even if you only believed it 5 or 10% more, that is substantial, for anyone here would take a 5 or 10% raise if offered to them. Or a 5 or 10% burst in energy. You would take it. And so, what is mythology and what is fact? What is real and what is not? You are waiting for certain things to happen that you believe are real. Whether it is love, a business venture, and that is certainly enough, for it takes up a great deal of a percentage of your concerns day to day. You are waiting for something to occur that you believe. And from that belief you shall venture forth and create, based upon that trust. In fact, many of you get into relationships or marriages for that reason, for they are saying that they shall be faithful to you. So you believe them. Then you are disenchanted when they are not, if they are not. But you see, it is more than that, more than just a yes or a no. It is a constant flow of your evolution, no matter what you are experiencing. Imagine to have received this sort of information at a younger age. You would then break through the uniformity of the so-called educational system. Many of you are upset at the certain appointment of this woman who has been appointed her position in education, aren't you? Are you familiar with this? Mm-hmm. Many opposed her, for she has no experience, and it would be perhaps a slap in the face of education. Interestingly enough, your own educational system has been slapping you in the face for a very long time. And you are offended by this person. You believe so inherently in this uniformity and conformity of education that you are willing to do anything to defend it, rather than question, what are you even teaching these young ones? Are you teaching them that their emotional reality is their own choice with the power of their perspective? Or are you still simply telling them the glass is half full or half empty, which has been said for decades now, and it's not done a thing for you, has it? Not powerfully. Perhaps it takes such an offensive person as this to be your Secretary of Education, to activate and stir up all of you as the person who is called the President. This is a time of activation. It is why you have that person in your office of President now, you see. No one would have stirred things up. It would have been much of the same. It took a person such as this to get 5 or 10 million women to rise up, to bond and unite, and the men that were with them. You can thank Mr. Trump for that, for helping you stand up for yourself, rather than to stay asleep with what the alternatives would have been. And that is what is occurring everywhere. That is what is occurring in your own personal life. This is a very interesting year cosmically. This is a year where you put your foot down with yourself, but not in a way where you are rough with yourself. It is just a sobering, you might say, and then an enlightenment of sorts. There will be many enlightenments in your life. It is not a one-time experience. You may be enlightened every moment, or every hour, or every day, or every week. It is up to you. It is up to you what you choose to be enlightened about. This can be the year where you change the storytelling of your life so far. Can you do it? What would it mean if you changed the story so far? That you got exactly the parents that you were supposed to have. And they acted exactly the way they should have for your evolution this go-around. That includes all of their inactions or actions. It includes all of their thoughts and words, expressed or unexpressed, felt by you. What if that was the story? And that the overarching theme of this story is that it was all for your powerful evolution of what you are, truly. That every event that occurred was divinely orchestrated for you. What would it take for that to go from a novel idea spoken to you here in this circle to a powerful belief that you would bet your life on? For you are betting your life on the beliefs you currently hold. Are they worth it? Whatever beliefs you are holding, are they worth it? Do you have what you want? We understand you had gratitude, but you came for more than just gratitude. You came for creation. But you have been busy fighting off a tsunami with one hand and trying to create a formulation with the other in some laboratory of your thoughts, rather than surrendering to the magic of what you are as you came here. As you came here to be. And so you must shake off all of these old stories. You might need to run along the beach till you are exhausted and panting and fall into a slobbering mess in the sand. It might be good for you, or at least to do it in your mind. Perhaps you feel you are doing it in your life right now. Take it all the way then if you must. But shake it off you. This is a time now for you to change all the stories and to have a great reverence for this wonderful epic story of your life, your existence. More than your life. You see, your existence is bigger than your physical life here. Notice that you may find things that you like in your life, but there seems to be a certain hollowness to the existence. So go to that. Do not be afraid of this idea. Do not let it exhaust you that you must exist forever. You are all things. You are not a being living inside of some environment. You are everything. You are one with everything. And in your greatest moments of happiness and enlightenment, be it for 1 second or a day, this is the articulation of what you felt, the oneness with all things. Because you could not imagine being angry, and everything was beautiful to you. You understood life and the so-called death. You began to make peace with all of it. And then there is nothing but creation. Bless you.